Hello, everyone. My name is David. I identify as Chicano. I saw this flyer about a Chicano theater class being taught at City College. I thought it seemed interesting, but then I saw that Herbert Siguenza from Culture Clash was teaching it. As a self-identified Culture Clash fan, I thought I got to take this class. I signed up right away. As Professor Siguenza said on the first day of class, you can't teach Chicano theater without knowing about Chicano history. So as long as we were taking the class, there were some parallels with Chicano theater and Chicano history, and it was important to know about the civil rights of the Chicano community. And if you're going to know about the civil rights of the community, you have to be familiar with the United Farm Worker Movement, which is a big movement that came during the 60s and 70s, along with the women's power movement, African American power movement, the American Indians, and so many more. The farm worker movement was very, very big. It was being led by Cesar Chavez, who was a farm worker himself and a Navy veteran from Arizona. And he came here with his family, and he became involved with the forming of the United Farm Workers, which is a very big deal. So he was a spokesperson. He was a face of the United Farm Worker movement, along with Dolores Huerta. Dolores is an amazing woman. She's small, petite, tiny, but man, she's powerful. I've had a chance to listen to her speak a few times and to meet her. She's an amazing woman. To this day, in her 90s, I believe, she is still out speaking across the country at colleges, universities. Now, we can't talk about the United Farm Workers, in my opinion, without talking about Larry Itliong, Filipino, who was also involved in the formation of the United Farm Workers. So if you're going to talk United Farm Workers and you're going to talk about Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, you must also bring up Larry Itliong. So with the formation of the United Farm Workers, there was this one guy, Luis Valdez, who approached Cesar Chavez and said, I want to start a theater company. And Cesar said, well, we don't have money and we don't have a place where you can practice. Would you still be interested? And he said yes. I had a chance to meet Luis Valdez, and he's a small man and big voice. And he had some big ideas, and he brought them to the fields. And he, along with the Teatro Campesino, the People's Theater, would go in their pickup truck, and they would lower the bed, and they'd do theater right there. If people can't come to the theater, then you take theater to the people. So this was a very big piece of how the Teatro Campesino got started. Now, part of the Chicano history is looking at the Chicano moratorium. This was an event where the community came out to protest the Chicanos that were being killed in Vietnam because there was a disproportionate number. And on August 29th, 1970, the moratorium happened, and it turned into something that got worse. Ruben Salazar, a reporter for the Los Angeles Times, who at the time was writing on the inequities of the Mexico Chicano community in the Southwest Los Angeles, he was at the moratorium reporting, and he went into a bar and unfortunately was killed by a sheriff. But one of the big things for me, and what really helped to develop my formation of being Chicano, was going to see Zoot Suit. My brother took me when I was in high school. It was the first time I've ever been to the theater, and we went to go see Zoot Suit, and it was just amazing. I'd never seen anything like it. And something else I'd never seen was a group called Culture Clash. I went to go see the first LA performance many years ago at LA Trade Tech College. They opened up for Ruben Blades, who was a salsa singer and politician from Panama. That's who I went to go see. But then I saw these guys open up for them. It was great. I just thought I'd never seen anything like them. One of the big shows was A Bowl of Beans, which was actually on TV. It was theater on TV. And I remember asking a question to Culture Clash and said, you guys got to go on the movies. And they was like, no, we stay. We're committed to theater. And I think that's a good thing because Chicano Latinos don't typically go to theater. One of the big plays for me that I saw was probably what I consider the best essay on San Diego, Border Town. So Culture Clash came to San Diego. They interviewed people in La Jolla, Tijuana, Shamu, and a host of others, and they brought it on stage. The other piece that they brought on stage, which was a very valuable piece of work, was Chavez Ravine. I'm a hardcore Dodger fan. Sorry, Padres, but I had to go see this play about Chavez Ravine and the formation of how Dodger Stadium came to be at the expense and at the cost of some Latino communities in in the Chavez Ravine area. Fast forward to now, Culture Clash has been celebrating the 40th anniversary show, and I had a chance to go see the show. It was great, a collection of some of their really popular, great works on stage at the Balboa Theater. It was a lot of fun, and I knew it was going to be a good time, so I thought, well, let me bring my daughter. She had seen Culture Clash before, so she was glad to have gone again. And we actually went one time. I took a group of students to see Culture Clash in Pasadena. We were running late, and I called the theater and I said, hey, we're running late. Don't start the show because I don't think you want 50 students to walk in late into the theater. So, but they've been doing good work, and a lot of times they take off on their own, and that's what Herbert's done. He's done a few other pieces on Pablo Picasso and Cantinflas, and now he's doing one on the many sins of Diego Rivera. I went to a reading at the Chicano Park Museum, and it was great, standing room only. But probably one of the best parts for me in taking this class was listening to all the different presentations that people gave. They were amazing. I walked away with something new from each presentation, and I'm glad I did, because it just reminds me of moving forward. Y que sí se puede. Thank you all.